like that. If not, do you see a message box or?
I've had a message box where it says private chat and comments over there on the side.
Yeah. So cool. Okay, cool. Yeah. So you'll be able to see people's comments as they jump in and jump into the conversation and ask questions and all that jazz. So
Perfect.
uh, we should be good. I will say we are live on YouTube, LinkedIn, 3 Facebook groups, no 4, no maybe 5 Facebook groups, my business page, my personal page. We're kind of all over the place
It's
right now.
everywhere.
Yeah, I want to get it out there, So
That's good. You're doing a good job.
thank you. Got about 2 minutes or so, but
Okay.
we got somebody who waved. If you don't mind, the person who waved, could you say your name? Because for whatever reason, we can't see it. Amy, question: is there a
Wow.
reason you you keep your light off in the back? I've noticed that anytime we've had a conversation on Zoom, it's off in the back, and it's good all up here.
I don't know. Just the mood. I don't know.
It sets the mood.
Yeah, for me, like I don't really think about it. I have a lamp over there that you can't see. And so I like the lamp. I don't like overhead lights so much.
Okay.
So that may be why. I haven't there's not a really good reason for that. So
Yeah, I'm a curious guy.
it's just my
There's
preference.
Yeah, no, I like it. Eva's the one who said hi. She's a kind of a newer agent with eXp. She's a rock star. She was with KW. She's a beast. She brought over some agents. She's lovely. She's the best.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hi. Did you say
Hi,
Eva?
Eva. Yeah.
Hi, Eva. It's good
All
to
right.
have you over.
Yeah. Maybe, hey Eva, as you if you see any questions you want to ask that we could ask live, just let me know and we'll dive into it. Got about 30 seconds, but if you want to go ahead and get started, we could just go ahead and jump right on in if you'd like.
I'm ready whenever you are, Ruben. I'm here
Awesome.
for it.
Woo. Okay. Cool. Since we have those few seconds, I will say Amy is in Charlotte, North Carolina. So she is representing the Carolinas. So high five to that. How long you been in? Actually, it's 9:30 now. Ugh, it's 9:30 now. And just real quick, how long have you been in Charlotte?
It's been about 18 years that I've been in the Charlotte
Oh,
area.
wow.
Yeah, so I've been here a while, and I'm actually a North Carolinian, so I am one of the few that actually grew up in North Carolina. So in my entire neighborhood, I might be the only one. There was like, I hear you've got a Southern accent. I was like, yeah, I actually grew up here. Amazing how that works. It's like
Really?
I can't get rid of this Southern accent thing,
Don't get rid of it. Don't get
It's
rid of it.
here.
It's
It's
here to
here.
stay. I will
It
say
is.
I'm kind of that rare guy too here in Fayetteville, North Carolina, right outside of Fort Bragg, where
Mhm.
people in and out, in and out, in and out. And I've been here since kindergarten, and military didn't bring us, so I'm that oddball too.
Yes. It's good to be an oddball sometimes. So we have a lot from like Buffalo and California, Jersey. So yeah, we've got people from all over.
Right.
And yeah, so
Yeah. All right. Since it is, by the way, if you're watching this, go ahead and hit that heart for Amy. Amy needs that love right after Valentine's Day. Yeah. So hit that heart. Show that you're showing some love. Share if you'd like to. Hit that like button. All that good jazz. But if you could, Amy, for everybody who's watching, if you don't mind, tell everyone what you do, how you do it, and all that good jazz.
how I do it. That's going to be an interesting thing. So I am the vice president of growth for EXP. I started back in April of last year, so April 2021. So we're headed towards that 1 year anniversary, and it's been a wild ride. But I was with a prior brokerage before. I think you and I have that in common, the red and white one.
So does Eva.
Yeah, and Eva. Hi, Eva from KW. So, so I was there for 13 years. What I do right now at eXp is I'm mostly like right here on a Zoom all day in my office with the light off behind me, and the light on in front of me and to the side of me. But I'm right here meeting with agents who have attracted larger teams and brokerages over to eXp, and then I'm the one to help them get them over the finish line. So it is my job to have great relationships with you guys, build the rapport there, and so that you trust me, you like me, and you bring those people over, and then we spread that on top of them and get them joining eXp. So that really is my job in a nutshell. It's just the tail end piece of attracting and recruiting talented agents and teams and brokerages to our company. So prior to that, I was a CEO, since we already said Keller Williams in the local Charlotte area. So I was at 2 different market centers. And so I headed that up for 3 years. I was a single agent before that, built a small team, and then got into leadership. So yeah, that's my history with real estate. Never intended to be a full-time agent, to be honest with you. So when I got into real estate, it was going to be a hobby, something that I did with family and friends, and just not really a moneymaker. Wasn't supposed to be, but then things change, and so here I am.
Has it turned into a moneymaker now?
I don't know. Moneymaker. Well, yeah. I mean, it's definitely lucrative as far as what I'm doing. It is. I'm in a better spot than I ever thought I would be. Yeah, I was a physical therapist before, and it's funny. I went to school all those years to be a physical therapist, and there's really a ceiling, as far as like what you can do there. No matter how many hours you put in, there's a ceiling. And so here it really is like it's an entrepreneur mindset, and so it can be whatever you want it to be. And I love that part of it, that there's no ceiling, and whatever you put into it is what you get out. There's flexibility within that, which is great for the family. So yeah, I mean, it definitely can be a moneymaker, and where we are, there's several different streams of that. So I love it. I love the opportunity. So
yeah. No, okay, cool. So there's like 3 different questions I want to ask there, but I will say, for anybody who is at a job or is thinking about getting into real estate, maybe be that side hustle thing, ask questions below, because obviously she could be able to answer that. And the second thing is, if you do just have general questions, not every day you're going to be talking to the vice president of one of the fastest growing real estate company ever. I mean, ask those questions. What's on your mind? It don't matter who you are. She's here to answer those questions. So make sure you drop those in the comments. So being in real estate for that amount of years, and now you're saying you have like a lot of great opportunities now. Did you start as an agent at eXp, or did you just move right into the leadership role? What did that look like?
Right into the leadership role. So I had been approached by different people to attract me to eXp. I did see it, but I didn't see it all at the same time. I had my rose-colored glasses on for where I was, and I didn't really want to hear it. So I heard it, and yet I didn't know that I bought into it. I had my own ideas of what it was about. So, Rich Tomasini was actually the one, as the Keller Williams team leader. My assistant team leader sent out a video of me like talking about the market and, whatever, an invitation to meet. And Rich immediately sent an email back and said, I'd love to meet. I looked him up and I was like, there's no way he's coming to Keller Williams. And so this is going to be reverse recruiting. And I knew that going into it, and I was okay with it, because I kind of wanted, we had been losing agents to eXp. And so I did want to, just learn a little bit more about it. And I thought it would give me some clarity talking to someone who was actually in it and doing a really great job. So I met with Rich at a Panera Bread, and he started talking to me about the opportunities at eXp. That was the first time I clearly saw it. I asked him if he didn't think he was an anomaly, because he was really doing well. He said, I do think I'm a little bit of an anomaly as far as like the attraction piece. He said, but don't you think you are? And that made me pause. And I was like, well, yeah, like I'm like the number 7 for gross recruits in all of Keller Williams, 800 and some offices. So I was like, yes. And, I still just, I couldn't really see me leaving the people that I had brought it. I just loved the people. And so anyway, fast forward a little bit. And so I told Rich, like, thank you for the opportunity, but I'm going to stay where I am. A month or 2 later, he he sent me a text and he's like, Amy, they're looking for a vice president for eXp for the growth. And I was like, oh, wow. I was
Deep
like,
breath, deep breath.
sure, like I'm not qualified for that. And he was like, and I said that. I was like, thank you so much, but I'm pretty sure I'm not qualified for that. But thanks for thinking about me. And he's like, no, 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 no. You don't understand. Like the president of the company, Dave Kennard, has already he's already looked into you. He's vetted you a little bit. He really wants to talk to you. So just to check the box off, I sent my resume in. I did it in all of like 20 minutes. I hadn't done a resume, and I don't know if I'd ever done a resume because as a PT, you didn't really do a resume, but maybe I did. So, but it had been a while. So turned that in and was set up with a meeting with Dave Kennard, and it was pretty humorous because I didn't know I was going straight to the president, and yeah, so I went right into corporate right away. And I'm not in production for real estate, although I still get a lot of referrals. So I just pass those out. So lucky to the people who get to do those. So I pass out referrals, and so I'm not really actively selling real estate.
Well,
So,
congrats. I mean, I think that's huge, right? They saw that in you, they saw that light in you, and they were like, screw that, I want that, we need that, right? And they brought that in. So that's awesome. I love that.
well,
Sekou, sorry, go.
I was like, well, I mean, I guess they did. Like that's hard to say, like coming from me, but sure, yeah, I'll take that. So
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Yeah, take that. Sekou put in the comments, amazing leadership and an awesome interview. But I'll just highlight the amazing leadership part. So thank you. I'm curious on this. So came over. Now there's stuff you probably had to let go, right? So what are things you can't do anymore being the VP of eXp growth?
Nothing. I don't
Oh,
know.
okay.
And there's nothing that I've had to let go per se. I mean, EXP is. I mean, do you have something specific in mind? So maybe I'm not thinking of something.
No, I just wasn't sure if, because once you move into leadership, you're not, and I don't know, right? That's why I want to ask the question.
Ask.
What can't you do? Meaning, can you still have teams that come over and sign you as a sponsor or an agent who comes? Can you still get the sponsorship side of things?
I was wondering if that's what you're meaning. Yes, I can. I just make sure that, they're not actively talking to someone else. Like
Correct. Yeah.
it's not a competition. I would never, ever compete against the agents that I'm serving every single day. And so a lot of my attraction is organic. It's people that reach out to me. I'm not actively, so I would say in that way, maybe, I'm not actively recruiting like I was. I am, but I'm doing it for the agents that I work with.
Sure.
So, but not, for personal reasons. And I was already kind of doing that at Keller Williams as well, because as a team leader, I'm not going out I was trying to help my agents attract so that they could benefit from profit share. So
Right.
in the same way,
Right.
and yet if I'm their connection and I'm the one that they're drawn to from our history or anything in the past, and they're reaching out to me, then I can still do that. So I just make sure that it's very clean, and
Right.
that we're not, I would never put myself against another agent. I don't think that's not in the cards for me. And I don't think the leadership would like that so much.
No.
So yeah. So in
Yeah.
that way, I have been able to attract agents. Yes. And when you're in a position like I was in, I meet a lot of people, and I am fairly influential, and that's why I'm in this role. So they want to know my opinion on a lot of things. And so it's having the develop the relationships over the years. It just makes them trust me and know me. And I think that's the most important part of attraction, by the way, is that someone likes you, knows you, trusts you. Then they're going to want to know more, and they don't feel like you're just trying to sell them something, right?
Right.
And same way with selling houses. If someone knows you, trusts you, likes you, then they're going to be much more likely to use you to list their home or to buy their house and to make that large transactional purchase. It's one of those things where the relationship comes first. So
Right. No, totally, 100%. I just wasn't sure that was me being curious. Case
I think
I
it
ever.
was you being curious. So it's a very tiny, small part of what what I am able to do. And so it's never in my work hours, and I don't really have work hours. But I'm busy all day long because you guys keep me busy, which I like. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
so
I
that's
gotta
what
ask, in case I ever get that calling to be a top VP of the company.
I
But no, so Sekou has a question, but before I get to his question, I got another question. What is the biggest hurdle, mindset, pushback that you see teams, firms have before moving over or even looking at the opportunity? What's the biggest struggle that you see them that they have?
brokerages is ego. They've built something and
Where's
they
my your your amigo or your ego isn't your amigo shirt? I have it somewhere. That's why I should have worded it.
yeah. So they feel like they've built something and they want to maintain the autonomy with that, and there's pride in that,
Right.
and so when they feel like they're hanging their hat and going to, in some ways it's just hard for them to process that in their mind. Although like the ones that really see the vision and see that they're going to get all this leverage and they're able to pour into their passions and not have and actually enjoy their life a little bit more. No longer are they the person that's called 24 hours a day, or they're not managing or hiring and rehiring, because as we know, it's like a hamster wheel. So if they can let some of that go and see that they have a lot more leverage and time on their plate, then they're excited to come over, even if it's a short-term loss to come over. As far as teams go, there's definitely a lot of the teams don't have like a capping model where they are. And so sometimes there's a lot of monetary benefit for them to come over. And yet too, if they're very loyal to where they are, their brand, that can kind of be a
Mm.
roadblock per se. So they have that, but for the most part, it's just them taking the time to listen and really hearing like what the opportunities are. And sometimes it's just sometimes I get the silliest things about the roadblocks. It's like, I don't want to, I just paid like this much money for my website. I'm gonna have to change all that. Or I've got to get new branding and new signs. And they literally don't want to do that. And I'm looking at the sponsor like, you need to help them out with that. Cause that is like a tiny little thing for,
Yeah.
looking at the short term versus the long term is, it's funny how short-sighted people can be sometimes. And so what I love about this company is most of the time when I get in front of the people, though, the sponsors have done a really great job of getting them to where they need to be, to where they really see the vision and they're ready to go. So yeah. But those are the two things: complacency, not wanting to change things, ego, and just their loyalty to the company that they've been with, that they feel like groomed them to where they got to be. So
Right. Right.
that's what I see.
And yeah, and through all of that, what do you find is so you said leverage, right? But what does that look like specifically for, let's say, a firm or even a large team? What is leverage? We hear that a lot, but what do you see that EXP offers as leverage? And Sekou, I'm coming to you, brother. I promise.
So as far as brokerages go, they don't have to have a broker anymore. We have that. They don't compliance, like we've got that. Payroll, we do that.
Mm,
So it's a lot of different things that they can literally just take off their plate and give it to us. As far as like recruiting and attraction to their team, there's no borders, and so they can talk to. It's usually hyper local, right? And so if they really want to grow and expand, they can't really do that except for within the walls of their company. Training, we've got 75 plus hours of training every single week from the top agents, and they can just have them plug in. So it's just one of those things where they have to see it and realize that if I give this up, then I can do the things that I'm most excited about, which is, for a lot of them, it is coaching and pouring into them, and they have relationships all over the country, so they can grow as big as they want to, and not have those restrictions for geographical restrictions. So that is a huge thing for them if they can actually see it and believe that it can happen. So those are just a few, but when they see it, they see it. Sometimes it just takes them a little while to get there. So we're really
yeah, and
helping out.
Exactly, and they don't run into any franchise territories, right? You can still push your brand all across the world. That doesn't stop. It's pretty amazing just how fast that disruption in thought and expansion can happen.
Oh, it's
It's
amazing. And if you coming in, like if it's a brokerage and they're coming in with like 50 or, 100 agents or whatever, um, think about like how far ahead they are. It's such a huge advantage for them. And then to really, help those people. The one thing I love about EXP is, you get rewarded for helping the person that names you to also do the exact same thing.
Yep.
It's an equal opportunity for all. So it's not just, this person. So we want everyone to have a big life and to have the biggest life they can to change their lives and their families' lives. And it's generational wealth. And so I love that, it's not just selfish, it's selfless in the way that you help other people. And then it just is such a mindset shift of, I'm just going to stack as many people as I can. No, I want to help you and let me help you. And then you help the person underneath. So while you're reaching up, you're also reaching down. And that's another thing is the collaboration. If a lot of times where I see people get most excited about it is when they're in groups in coaching groups and whatever with other EXP agents and they see the difference in those people and their entrepreneur mindsets and the collaboration with them and the way they think. It's just very different. So can't really explain it until you're in it, and then when you see it you're like, wow. It's still kind of hard to explain unless you're in it. So but those
Yeah.
are the ones that are most excited, that are in coaching groups and they see EXP agents as like, they're like, there's something different about you. There's a spark, there's an energy. It's almost palpable. And I'm not getting
Mm.
that right now. So I want to know what you're doing. And I might want to hitch my wagon to you and whatever that is.
Yeah,
So
and I think some of that star power comes from when you realize that you're not capped. Right? I mean, you cap on your commissions, of course. We can
yeah.
talk about that, but
Me
you're not
too.
like, yeah, you're not exactly. It's like the
Mhm.
law of the lid, right? Like you don't hit a ceiling because literally the universe is yours to expand and be as big as you want to be. And I think that's what lights a lot of fire from people that love the opportunity to be creative, to be so creative that you start to grow and not hit a ceiling like the things I used to do, I may have been called, out of culture or I wasn't doing something the right way. I've been rewarded here for being creative. I've been rewarded here, which is like for me, with my high energy self, like I love it. You know what I mean? It does. And
Yeah.
maybe that's where some of that spark of that fire comes from because there is no lid. And here we go, Sekou. Here was Sekou's question, which is where do we go from here? If we are the fastest growing real estate company ever, we are a disruptor in terms of expansion with no borders, where you have caps and well, that's not that other companies have that, but you got the stock, you get your cap back in the form of stock. We got all of that. Where do we go from here?
I mean, we're keep hustling. One thing that I love about Glenn Sanford, the founder of our company, is he listens to the agents and what's important to them. We just had a mastermind in Puerto Rico, and it truly is agent success obsessed. And so our plan is to be at 500,000 in less than 5 years and a million in
Mm,
10 years. And the opportunity for growth in the US is still there. And then outside of our borders, it's massive. We're just getting started and all that. So we're seeing massive growth. I don't know if you saw the Dominican Republic, but we just opened there,
yep.
and there was like an opening day, and there was like over 1,000 people, and so it was just amazing, the energy. And so we're starting to take that all over the place, and the growth is just going to be exponential because of it not, because you, Ruben, can go to Puerto Rico, or if you have ties in, Greece or wherever it is, like you can go in there and you can start the movement there. And that's what's so exciting. And I think that's why entrepreneurs love our company, is because they have a vision and they get to tap into it. And then you have all these other people that just want to help you. They don't even have to be in your organization or in your line or even related to you. They're just like, yeah, let me help you, because when you do well, then I do well, we all do well. And so it's just that mentality. So love it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So and correct me if I'm wrong, REMAX is really good at expanding into different territories outside the United States. I believe so. Like that's one of their top notch. They love doing that. And it sounds like at the same time that eXp is obviously looking at a worldwide growth opportunity. Why do you think there's thousands of people in the Dominican Republic waiting for open day when REMAX has been, and I'm not dogging REMAX. I got some really, really good friends at REMAX, but I'm just looking at more of an operational expansion thing. Why do you think thousands line up for that, but really not necessarily a company that's been around forever and ever? What's different about what we offer? And there's that line of 1,000 people.
It's a good question, right? I think that people see that the traditional brokerage it's just not as exciting, right? So you have one lane that you get to stay in, and it's just selling real estate. And so here, I think people get excited about, having the potential to, or they will. All they have to do is stay in their lane of selling real estate, and they're going to earn stock, like just from selling real estate, and they can benefit from the agent equity program. And then if they do see, and maybe we had some great leaders that opened up the Dominican Republic. I don't know who they are. I'm not as much on the global scene. Michael Valdez is our global president, and so he would know a little bit more about that. But just I think that if whoever was talking to them, let them know about tapping into attraction. It is just they get excited about all the different streams of income that they see, and there's just when you think about traditional real estate companies, it's not that they haven't done great. I just think that the model and what worked then doesn't necessarily what got you where you were then. It's not going to get you where you want to go now or in the future. And so I think they see like the Blockbuster versus the Netflix, or the Circuit City versus Amazon. And so if people are seeing that vision, then they know, like, if I'm on the train and this is going to be an Amazon, I want to be on it. So I think that's where they get excited, and we are. It absolutely is where we are. I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it talked about Peloton and how Peloton, just exploded. And it's because,
but it also, the stock is like,
I know. Well,
my bad. I just
you're paying attention to the stock.
I know.
Hopefully it'll go. Stock is always a roller coaster, right?
It is. It's
just one of those things. But with people, and again, I think there's a hybrid of people. I don't think we'll ever go back to how we were. Just last night, I was thinking, I was supposed to go to Hotworks to do this class, and for whatever reason, I just was like not feeling like getting out in the cold or whatever. So I have a gym membership, and yet I'll also have Peloton, and I can do whatever workout I want to. I can stream it with the instructor I want, with the music that I want, at the time I want, in my living room. And so that is something that I think people will continue to latch onto, is having like that kind of opportunity right in front of them, even though they might still have a gym membership. So I think like the people's mindsets are just changing as to convenience. And I was talking to somebody this morning about Instacart. I was like, my God, the world has just changed. People still like to go to the grocery store, but also, if you can order it up and Instacart's going to deliver it while you've got a million other things going, you might have some hybrid thereof. So, and
exactly.
I feel like eXp is like that. Even though we're virtual world and we're metaverse and all that, we still love to get together and see each other face to face and have that human connection. And that's why our events are so big. And what I love about when we do that is that there's no water cooler talk. There's no gossiping. It is literally like, what are you doing to make your life better? Or how are you growing? And how can I help you? And then let me share, what I'm doing. If you share what you're doing, and let's just take over the world. And so that's what I love about when we do get together. There's so much excitement, and it's non-competitive. I think if people are competitive, it's really competitive with themselves. They might be somewhat competitive with other.
And there's that friendly competitiveness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It really is like we're all in this together. And so I love that, because I'm a super competitive person, but I'm mostly competitive with myself, mostly. So
right. So and I'd agree with you. I mean, definitely the whole pandemic really squeezed the growth, because people realize, I mean, they've said it for so long, right? Like, no, I need an office. No, 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 I need an office. And then eventually they're like, oh, we can't even go. And
Yeah.
yet everything's still operating, or we have to find out how to operate, and then it worked. I think that squeezed the growth. But what do you think is, so what's the conversation going on? So how do you, like, it is exciting. There is a lot of disruption, but how, fast forward 5 years from now, in order to hit that 100,000 or 500,000, in order to hit that million, what are you guys talking about behind the scenes that may be some of the cornerstones to keep that excitement and that growth moving forward?
So I think the culture is still super important. I think doing things like this and us being able to go to events and all that. So I will say, like, we're missing a key piece of leadership right now, and we should be getting that soon. But right now, what
Mm,
our growth is we're hitting Canada super hard. There's a lot of potential in Canada. So really, outside of, I feel like within the U.S. borders, it's you guys are just fantastic, and it's growing exponentially. And so as we see more brokerages and even, not even independent brokerages, but other brokerages, we just have to be careful of when their franchise agreements end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But they see it, and there's validation there. So if we can really and truly, our biggest opportunity is outside of the U.S. borders, even though I think within we're still going to grow, grow, grow. So it's really getting in key pieces of leadership everywhere, and
Mm,
helping to share the vision so that others can see it. But as far as like what Sean and I are doing as a VP of growth, it's supporting you guys, developing. We have attraction classes all the time. We have influencer classes. We have training as far as production classes and training. And so just to really expand on that, we're going into luxury. I think it's okay to say that, but we're really working on our luxury branding and pushing that certification and making that something so that there's more people that feel okay about coming over. They're not going to lose their luxury clients or whatever by coming to eXp, which I don't think they will, because we've always said the branding is about you. And
100%.
yet they want to have something that makes them feel special, right? And so
Mm,
we've heard it over and over again. So thinking outside of just what is it that our agents want and how can we get that to them? And so
right.
we've heard that a lot about luxury. And so we're just building on all the different blocks that we just we've got the foundation, and then just
Yep.
adding to. So
Yeah,
that's kind of where we
exactly.
are right now, and we're waiting for that key piece of leadership to come in to really have that vision. I mean, I have my own vision, but I think that once we have that person in place, I think that it's just going to blow up. So
Yeah, and I think
I'm excited.
if you've been following the the conversation, you'll know who that person is. But yeah, I mean, it sounds like, right. You focus on the nation, the United States, where the foundation was grown and built, and really found out a lot about EXP and the foundation of that, and then you start moving into the commercial, the luxury space at a higher level, sprinkling what we already know, and doing a little bit extra to where they're able to expand on that. So I would just say, like, two asks from anybody who's watching. Number one, who do you know that is a luxury agent that may be thinking about this opportunity, right? I know Amy would like to chat with you. Let's get together. Let's see what that looks like, because you might head something that blows up. When I first came over, this was only 2 years ago. Everyone thought it was nuts. Nuts. Crazy. And that's great. I lean into disruption because there's a lot of opportunity there. You and I were talking about NFTs before this whole thing started, because there's a lot
Yeah.
of opportunity, and leaning into that, and leaning into that uncomfortableness, but also being one of the first. There's a lot of opportunity, a lot of cool things that can happen. The second is, who do you know outside of the United States? Because one of the things you just said was like, man, we're also looking at who's the talent that we could place outside of the nation to keep this thing growing. So who do
Yeah.
you know? Because that's a great opportunity for them as well.
And commercial, you mentioned commercial, and that is a massive, massive opportunity. The commercial president, James Wong, and Stephanie Bilzen, who's the director of commercial, super talented. Stephanie is like just a fireball,
Yeah,
and
I
she's
had her on
managing.
video.
Oh my gosh, she's just amazing. And so if people can, if agents, commercial agents can really see the benefit that she has gotten so many things in place as far as like, systems and tools and processes, things that they can just really hit the easy button. Holy cow, that opportunity is massive. So if you know luxury and if you know commercial, get them in front of Stephanie or James, and that area can definitely blow up. We have a huge opportunity for commercial. So
I might need to bring Stephanie on one of these, and Mike Valdez if he's a bit. I know he's like crazy busy too, but
he'll
I'd
do
like,
it. He'll do
yeah,
it. And that's what we're here for. Like and Stephanie would definitely do it. And she would light this audience on fire. She would,
yeah,
she spoke when we were in DC,
yep.
and I was like, I am ready to sign up and be a commercial agent. Oh my God. Like, I'm ready to go.
She's a
Like, let's
firecracker.
go. I know. I was like, I literally felt my energy, endorphins and everything. I was like, I am like on fire, ready to go. And I don't even sell real estate. And I know nothing about commercial, and I'm ready to go with her. So I just, I love that. I love the energy and the drive and the commitment. And she has been so committed to getting this commercial up and running and doing all kinds of amazing things. I'm always blown away by what she's been able to do. So yeah, you should definitely get her on here. You felt that when we were in DC, didn't you? I was like,
Yeah,
that is just some amazing momentum there. So yeah.
I love that. I love that. It's not a boring conversation when you talk to leadership and where we're going, and it's like, ugh. It's like there's a
Yeah.
lot of energy and excitement behind everything that's being created. But I'll do this again. Anybody who's watching, if you do have a question, it could be anything. Don't get weird, but it could be anything.
Get here.
Yeah, and maybe get weird. I don't know, but like ask a question, throw it in the comments because Amy's here to answer those. I'm going to ask a few last questions,
Okay.
and then we'll wrap it up. So let's see. Do you have a favorite failure that you believe has set you up for success?
A favorite failure. That's a very interesting way of putting that. Um, yeah. So I think I told this in DC, but right when I got into real estate, the reason that this has ended up being different for me than how I'd envisioned it is because my husband, I think it's okay. And I always feel horrible saying this, but there was a couple of job losses in a very short amount of time. And my husband was the breadwinner for our family. And so literally, I thought we would lose everything that we had. And it wasn't so much about that. I'm okay with losing things, but there's a lot of emotions attached to whenever you really have no money to pay for groceries or gas or whatever, you're swiping your card and it gets denied, and all your other credit cards are jam packed and there's no space on them to put anything, and you literally get turned away at the grocery store saying, you know, no,
Yeah,
it's all declined. And so that is like a humbling experience. And I remember sitting on the front porch with my husband, and he said to me, he's like, we are going to lose everything. And he's like, this is awful. Like, there's no hope. I've been out of work for, months, and this is the second time. The second time is where it really hit because we had no savings to pull from then. And so it was just dismal, and the outlook was dismal. And I said, well, and I don't want to focus on that. I want to focus on what can we do to not let that happen and to keep our kids, uh, as comfortable as we can without losing everything that we own, and making sure that we don't upset their lifestyle so much. And so that's when I dug in deep and decided to see what I could do, because I had been, after I had the kids, and we moved to Charlotte, he supported our family. He tried, like he had a great job, and I was able to stay home with the kids, and I just worked part-time. And so that was such a luxury. So I was like, let me do this. And so that
right.
failure, and I won't even call it a failure, the situation that we were in, where, it was embarrassing. And, I, just like going to little things, like my friends would invite me to dinner and I was like, I can't go. I would eat soup. I would literally eat something that was very nominal cost so that
Yeah,
I could be there, and so they wouldn't see the situation. So that failure I think is what catapulted me into seeing, like, I'm willing to do whatever to make this work. And so once I dug in there, and I think that was always there, I'll have to say I've always been, that kind of person, but I had just really put my energy where I wanted it to be, into my family and supporting my husband and whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. There just came a time where it had to turn, and then I had to be the supporter. And so I was very blessed in that I got to spend, the early years with my kids and, nurturing it. And then I was able to dig deep and make it happen, because I wasn't going to let that. Wasn't going to fail with at least giving it everything I got. So it actually worked, and we didn't fail. And so we're here, and I think I'm much better off because of it. Because of that situation in my life, I'm so much more grateful for where I am, and the opportunities, and sharing my story. There's been so many people that have been in that spot, and it just is amazing because I get to give them hope. And I'm like, there's a light here, and you just got to dig in and see what it is you need to do. And it's not instant, but if you put the work in every single day and do what you need to do, then it's going to come. So
yeah. It sounds like the pressure, there was a lot of growth that happened in that pressure. And I think sometimes people avoid pressure as if it's something that's not going to push them forward, or they're going to fail in that pressure. But I think with the mindset of knowing that you'll do whatever it takes to make sure X happens, the pressure is amazing. I love when people are put in high pressure situations, because the growth that they say they want is going to happen faster. They may hit that level of growth that they say they wanted, but it's going to happen much, much faster if you put it in a pressure pot, right?
It does, yeah. Because you really have no choice. Like it's do or die then, and
Exactly.
we're not dying here today. We're gonna go do. So
Just keep rolling.
yeah, so I think you're right. It accelerates it, and it gives you it makes you very clear on your purpose, and why you're doing what you're doing, and it just gets you super focused on okay, this is what I need to do, and there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing these things today. So,
Right. Exactly.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
agree. What profession other than your own would be fun to attempt?
Interesting. Um,
Well,
I listen to so many podcasts, and I think like I've always wanted to write a book. So being an author of some sort, I think that I've thought about that a lot. I've gotten ideas and I've written them down. I just haven't poured into it. I don't know. I don't know if it'd be fun. I do think it would be fun. I think it would be stressful too. But to leave a legacy like that, for whatever it is that I just think that could be great. And I would actually really love to do some sort of podcast, because what my biggest what I get the most out of is pouring into other people and then seeing them thrive, or seeing that light come on in their eyes. And so
right.
if I can leave that, then that mark on society, and give back to my community, I think that would be fun. Let's see what to think about fun. Like that's fun, but that's something I really want to do. Fun. I don't know. I don't know. That's a good one.
I just want to be on your podcast.
Yeah, you can be on the podcast. I'm really thinking though, because I love outdoor stuff. So like to be like a tour guide of something or whatever, I really, really love like the outdoors. And I've started to have a love of history, even though I hated it when I was in school. But
Right.
like something where, again, I'm a people person, even though I'm a little bit of an introvert, funny enough. But I'm a people person, and what I like to make people feel validated and good about themselves. And so like just connecting with people on a daily basis in whatever environment that is. And if it was outdoors where we're having fun and just enjoying nature and there's families together, I'd be all about that. So I don't know.
Heck yeah. Well, let me
Weird,
know.
right?
No. No. I want shoot. I mean, same, right? I love the history things. Did not like it in school. Love being outdoors. By the way, should warm up by the end of the week. Excited about that. And so another question: one purchase of less than $100 that has most impacted your life.
Oh my gosh. Purchase of less than $100. My wife.
Yeah, my wife has one. You just hit the button and it goes.
Yeah, it does. And so I'm on this thing now, 75 hard, and you don't realize, and again, I learned this on a podcast, how much water that your body needs. And if you think of it, like all your organs inside, if they're not getting hydrated, they're really shriveling up and not performing to their maximum potential. And so I think I was going through life pretty dehydrated all the time. And so since I've been doing 75 hard and I've been making sure to drink a gallon of water every day, which I was like, that's insane. Like for me, I'm a smaller person. And so whatever that is, 128 ounces seems insane to me, because I was like, I knew the 8 cups a day, right? So 8 cups, 64 ounces, like I thought I was getting close to that, but drinking a whole gallon of water, it was hard at first. And now it's like, I feel like I need it. And I feel like my mind is sharp, and I feel like that's a big cause of it. So really, that purchase keeps me on track, and I feel like I'm doing wonders for my body. And I know that's funny because it's sitting right here, but literally this thing is with me all the time. My husband hates it because it's like I'm lugging this big water bottle around all the time.
Just let them know it could be used as a weapon in case someone, you could bing, you can hit somebody with it.
Hopefully it's full when I need it as a weapon.
True, right? It'd be like, if it wasn't. But yeah, I just had one of our top agents, Shelby Osborne in Charlotte. She lives in Charlotte. Tell me about 75 hard yesterday. So anyway, that's awesome. Any type of, and I really, really believe this, any type of investment you do for your body is a huge, huge, huge investment. This vessel is going to take you throughout life until you no longer have a life. Like, take care of this. So I am
well, to be
huge on
honest
that.
with you, if you don't have your health, then what good is anything else, right? So, we're talking about, experiences, enjoying and being able to do stuff with your family. If you don't have your health, then you're not going to be able to show up there. So I agree with that. And I think it flows over into our mindset, our mental health, our when you're confident in yourself, then that flows over into your work and your relationships with other people. So yeah, I'm all about that. I always have been. This one is a bit of a challenge, especially like with us going to Puerto Rico and Cabo and all those things. So it's a little bit of a challenge because just to kind of go over the rules, it's a gallon of water a day, 2 45-minute exercises, one of which has to be outside every single day, 10 pages of reading. That's no problem. I've always done that. And no alcohol. Did I already say that? No alcohol, and then follow a nutritious plan of some sort. Like, it doesn't have to be a specific one, but sticking to some kind of nutritional diet, and then taking a progress picture every day. And if you fall off on any one of those pieces, you reset again to day 1 the next day.
Damn.
And so this is my 3rd try, actually. So I started at like January 3rd, and January 3rd, I got to like day 18, I think. And we went to Puerto Rico, and I was having such a hard time tracking my water. Like, it was driving me crazy because I would be in meetings, and then, you'd be out, and I'd have all the water in my room that I needed for the day. But then my husband would drink one of the waters, and I'm like, did you drink one of my waters? And so I was like, I can't track this. So I can't do it. Like, if I'm not certain of what I'm drinking, and I didn't really want to put tap water into this. So that was hard. And so I was like, I was going to restart on Monday. So I did. I got back on from Puerto Rico on a Monday, and then I restarted. And I don't know what was wrong with me, but on that second day, I could not get off the couch at 7:00 at night to do my second workout. It just was not in me. I could not do it, and it had to be outdoors. And I'm like, start over tomorrow. So now I think I'm on day 21, and I feel really good.
Good.
So yeah,
you got this.
Changes, physical changes, like, it's all good. Yeah, I do. I've got it. I got it.
Yeah. I will say, a water hack for traveling, because that's all I drink is water. I drink 1 glass of orange juice in the morning, but it is keep your cups or keep your bottles. Go down to the gym if you're in a hotel, and they usually have a large bucket, that you could get water from, and I just refill.
And that was another thing. The gym was closed.
No bueno.
It was awful. So then to get the second workout, and the beach wasn't like a beach where you could just get and walk. It was like off a cliff. And so it wasn't one where you could get out and walk. So in order to do my outdoor one, it had to go walking on roads and stuff in Puerto Rico. So it was a challenge. I probably could have made it work, but I love that hack because I actually do that. when I'm like in the States, and I'm like, I just need a couple of bottled waters for the night, because
Yeah.
when you don't have it, you really need it. And so I like to have 2 bottles of water. And if I don't touch them, it's a mental thing. They have to be there
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I need
yeah.
water. So yeah.
100%. 100%. All right, so I'm going to ask probably 2 more questions. Number one, since I've been asking you 1,000 questions, what question do you have for me?
Okay, so you've been with eXp for 2 years, right? What do you think is the biggest change that you've seen in yourself or your mindset since being at this company versus where you were before?
So, it wasn't long, maybe a week or a week and a half after I left KW, that I started to feel, and this is definitely mindset, I started to feel light. I started to feel like I was almost floating or skipping. And like I didn't know what it was. So I asked my wife and I was like, hey, why I feel so light. I don't even know what's going on. And she kind of made it because she heard everything, back when I was the TL or the CEO, back when I was a productive, like she heard everything, of course. And she was like, I think you carried around weight for so long that you didn't even know you were carrying it anymore. And I was
Yeah.
like, holy crap. Because here, there is no agenda, right? There is no, if you remember being a DL, there's things you have to do. You have to invite people to. And if not, the market center has to pay for it. Like
Mhm.
there's this requirement after requirement, and it's a funnel for them to be in a certain organization or a certain team or a certain this. And it's always on you.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. There's literally nothing here. It is it it's it's freedom, right? It's like I guess I walked outside in a bubble before, and now there is no bubble, and there are no borders, and I can do whatever I want, how I want to, when I want to, whatever the staying under the rules of the commission per
Sure.
state, but that has nothing to do with EXP. I would say that's the biggest. I'm allowed to be myself. I'm
I
allowed
love
to
that.
be myself, and
Hmm.
and what happened? I'm growing faster.
Hmm.
Think
Yeah.
about that. Like so. I would say that was it.
Yeah, so you take off all those restrictions and you're growing faster than you ever have. That's awesome. Yeah, I had the same thing, like where you had to have a certain number of attendees for bold or whatever it was, and you always had
CES.
that pressure, yeah, to get the roster up or whatever, and to have your numbers posted every Monday for the leadership meetings, and it just got. I liked it to some extent, but also was very draining, and I felt like I was in competition with the people that I was working with, other leaders, and I didn't love that. Like I'm like, I love these guys. Why are we in competition with each other? So I like friendly competition, and yeah. So I agree. I was so much lighter too. So my next question for you is,
Oh, you hit me with
yeah,
two. Uh
you
oh.
said two. You can get into the camera. I'm
I
like,
said I
wait,
had
what
two
do you
more.
remind me?
Like there's gonna be one last. So two. But you get it. Go
Oh,
ahead. Go ahead.
for me. Okay, where do you see yourself in 3 to 5 years?
With enough. So we're still identifying that. There's a reason why we bought the RV. I think, and we're renting it out as a passive income thing right now. But it's gonna be paid off in about 5 years. The whole reason for that is so we could travel. What I want to do is I can't just travel just to travel, just to lay back. I can't do that. I will go insane, right? So
I'm
like
the same.
I actually made a video about that. How do you go on vacation as an entrepreneur? Because
I'll have to see that.
I'll pass it to you. I think it's okay that we get something done while we're on vacation. Anyways, I think it's like working out. To tell you the truth, for
Yeah,
an entrepreneur.
yeah,
But what I want to do is travel to schools, like
yeah.
middle and high schools, even colleges, if they'll let me in, and to tell kids about entrepreneurship. Like tell them what they can do if they want to start a business, and maybe fund some of those businesses if they're a good idea. So I want to get to that level where we're traveling in the RV and we're doing that all across the nation. The other side is travel to firms. And I don't care what affiliation you are. I want to put on a class. I want to help your people out. I still have that love for helping out agents to see different angles and stuff like that. So those two things, using our RV that will be paid off from renting it out.
I got chill bumps because I think that you and I are actually a lot alike. So, if I could do that kind of thing, what I love is like your mission is helping other people, And through that, like, you get fulfilled. And I just love that everything that you said is just for the better of the community, the betterment of the community, and to do other people good so that they can see what they're capable of, and then you pouring into them. Love that. So
Yep.
that was, I can't wait to see you do that. That's amazing. I need to rent out your RV because I also like to travel, but I like having an agenda. And it's funny when I go with people that don't have some sort of agenda, I'm losing my mind. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my God, like I need to do something. I need to go and do something, whatever it is. So yeah, that's awesome, Ruben. I'm gonna rent your RV out.
You should. The Carolina Traveling Marshmallow. Follow it.
Okay, I got
But
it. I'm gonna
and
do
then
it.
what? And this is it. What last question do you have for everybody watching
Um, last question for everyone watching is,
or listening? Because some
how are
listen
you
like a
gonna how are
podcast.
you gonna show up today to make a difference for the people in your life? What things can you put into action right now that is going to change the trajectory of your family and those that you love? So there's got to be one thing that you learned today that you can implement and get into action on, and then make sure that you're doing it every single day. So that's it.
Mm,
I want these guys to be better. And, it starts with one thing that is going to help to show up, and then consistently doing it. I'm all about consistency because you're never going to always feel motivated or energized. But if you're committed to it, and even when you don't feel like showing up, you show up, then that's going to be the game changer in your life and in those around you. So be a role model. How are you going to be a role model? And make sure that you have some sort of goal in mind for where it is that you want to go and where you want to be. So yeah,
mm,
that's it.
100%. And I would want to know, like, for whoever's watching, DM me, let me know the answer to that, because maybe I can help. And also DM Amy, right? Like, and maybe she's able to help too. And on that, where do they find you? How do they connect with you?
I mean, you can find me on Facebook, and if you're at eXp, I love connecting on work chat because that keeps me in line with my job. But yeah, I'm Amy.s.Weaver on Instagram, Amy Stanley Weaver on Facebook. So definitely you can connect with me there. I'd love to see you guys on there. I love putting things on there that I think you'll see a lot of my personal stories as far as like 75 hard and what I'm working on. And so let's all inspire each other to be better and show up with more positivity, less negativity. So I'd love
Woo!
to see you guys on there.
We're ending it on that. That was awesome. Okay, cool. Well, thank you so much. I know you're super busy, so thank you for jumping on this, giving
Thank you,
value to the.
Ruben.
Yeah, you know it. And I guess I'll see you next week. We're gonna go to that NFT shop.
Yes, we are. Ruben's amazing, guys. If you are on board with him, congratulations. And if you're thinking about anything, like Ruben he is genuine. He has a huge heart, and I love him. Positivity, no negativity.
Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you. All right. Bye.